Never get that feeling. Like the internet is totally watching your every move. Well, buckle up because today's deep dive is going to take that to a whole new level, especially if you, like pretty much everyone else, are on LinkedIn. So we're checking out this piece from The Hindu. It's a huge Indian newspaper, and it was just published on September 19th, 2024. So this is all very, very new. Get this. It looks like LinkedIn users are figuring out that the platform, the one we all use, has been taking their data to train these AI models. And get this, the option to even share your data. Yeah, it was automatically turned on. Okay, before you say it, I know. Isn't that like the whole point of social media? They use your data. Maybe. But here's where it gets kind of messy. We're not just talking about those targeted ads here. This is your work experience, your skills, who you know, everything basically about your professional life, and it's all being fed to these AI systems.
And just so we're clear, when we say AI models, picture teaching, like a computer to write a cover letter, how would you even start? You probably give it a ton of examples to learn from, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what we're talking about here. But instead of cover letters, it's your entire LinkedIn profile, your posts, your messages, everything. It's all becoming part of this massive training data set.
So that obviously brings up some, questions like what are these AIs learning and what are they going to deal with that information, right? Like the article mentions plagiarism. Could you imagine? You pour your heart into this brilliant article, share it on LinkedIn, and then bam, a few weeks later, an AI spits out basically the same thing. It's actually kind of creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, and it shows you how complicated this all is. Legally, ethically, the whole thing about data rights in the age of AI.
Yeah.
We're just figuring it out as we go. I mean, on the one hand, you've got users who feel like they never really agreed to this. On the other hand, you've got these huge companies, and they're all racing to build the best AI. And to do that, they need a crazy amount of data.
And we can't forget about the money, right? Microsoft spent $26.2 billion back in 2016 to buy LinkedIn. So they clearly see something in all that data, especially now that AI is blowing up.
Exactly. And it's not just LinkedIn. It's every company. They're all trying to lock down these data deals. Sometimes I don't think they even realize what they're getting into.
Speaking of consequences, apparently Microsoft is already facing lawsuits over how they're using AI data. So this isn't some theoretical debate anymore. This is real.
And one of the big things the courts are going to have to figure out is if our current privacy laws, like the EU's GDPR, can even handle this new ways of AI data collection.
Just in case you don't know, GDPR is a really intense data protection law over in Europe. They even have this whole article, Article 22, that's specifically about using algorithms to make decisions. Basically, it gives people rights when it comes to how companies use their data to, make decisions about them. But the question is, does that include AI training too?
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's something courts around the world are going to have to figure out.
It's weird, right? A couple of years ago, everyone was freaking out about those deep fake videos. The ones where it looks like someone's saying something they never actually said? And I mean, yeah, that's still super creepy. But this whole data training thing, it's like next level. It feels way more personal.
It is. It's way bigger than that. Because now we're not talking about just copying someone's voice or face or whatever. We're talking about replicating their ideas, their whole way of thinking, their professional soul.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question. What does this mean for you listening right now?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Remember that case, I think it was a few years ago, where all those authors sued that AI company? They were saying the company had used their books, all their writing, to train some AI writing tool without asking, obviously, and definitely without paying them. It was a huge deal, and it kind of showed everyone where things might be headed, legally speaking, as AI gets, more advanced.
And it's not just writers, is it? I mean, think about anyone who shares their work online, consultants, analysts, programmers. If your LinkedIn profile is basically this incredibly detailed roadmap of your entire career, how would you feel about someone using it to train an AI that could, theoretically replace you someday?
That's the nightmare scenario, isn't it? And to be fair, we're not quite there yet, technology-wise. But it's getting closer every day. But that's the thing, right? This isn't science fiction anymore. This is a conversation we need to be having right now.
So where does that leave us? It's easy to feel kind of helpless, right? We're just along for the ride. But we're not totally powerless, are we?
No, not at all. Knowledge is power, right? The more you understand your own data, the better. So do you use LinkedIn? Have you actually looked at your privacy settings lately? Are you okay with how your data might be used? And not just by LinkedIn, by any platform, really.
It's like that saying, if you're not paying for it, you are the product. And with AI, our data is like the most valuable product there is. But here's the thing. We don't have to just be products. We can demand more transparency from these companies. We can support stricter data privacy laws. And we can start asking ourselves some serious questions about what role we want AI to play in our lives, you know?
Exactly. And it's not about being against AI, really. It's about making sure the technology is used ethically and responsibly in a way that benefits everyone.
Well said. And it all starts with awareness, right? The more we understand about how our data is being used, the better we can protect ourselves. You know, thinking about this whole LinkedIn thing, there's something that's been bugging me. The article we talked about focused specifically on LinkedIn, but got me thinking. Are other platforms doing the exact same thing? Are we all just feeding this giant AI experiment without even realizing it? It's like we're living in the Matrix or something. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but still, it makes you think twice about those user agreements, right?
Totally. And to answer your question, yeah, it's almost guaranteed that other platforms are using our data for AI training in one way or another. I mean, let's be real. Every time you use Google, buy something online, even just scroll through TikTok, that's all data.
Mhm.
And companies that are building AI, they live for that stuff.
So what can we even do? I can't just like delete all my accounts. I need the internet.
Right. Going totally offline isn't realistic for most people. But it's not about that. It's about being smarter.
Mm.
Like actually go into your settings on all the apps you use and see what you can change. There are usually ways to limit data collection or opt out of targeted ads.
I'll be honest, I never even read those cookie pop-ups. Just click accept and move on. But maybe it's time we all start paying attention,
For
right?
sure. Every little bit helps. And beyond that, we can support those organizations that are, fighting for our digital rights.
Mhm.
There are tons of groups out there trying to hold these tech companies accountable and make sure AI is being developed ethically.
So it's not all bad news then. There's still hope for us.
Oh, absolutely. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We're all creating it right now by the choices we make.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot today: LinkedIn, AI, data privacy, the whole nine yards. But this conversation is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. So, to everyone listening, what are your data rights? Think about it. Are they being respected? And what can you do today to make sure your information is protected? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay in control of your digital self.